MCC has been by far the best decision that I've ever made. I mean, it's helped me out tremendously academically. It's by far been the best choice for me.
I did get close with a lot of students here at MCC, but most of the staff, all the staff that I went to and was asking for help and what do you suggest, they all know me by name.
It's definitely been a journey, and it's been a very exciting journey. I'm so thankful that I came to Meridian, because Meridian's what started all of this for me, and I'm not close to being done yet, but I'm definitely on my way, and I give all my thanks to Meridian Community College.
They care about students here. All the instructors are willing to help. So at a 4-year, you're probably not going to get that. You're a statistic pretty much.
I really wish MCC was a 4-year institution, because I'm really I'm going to start crying. I'm really sad thinking about graduating, because I don't want to leave now that I'm here.
Well, at first, when
I'm Dr. Tom Huber. I'm the president of Meridian Community College, and this is our first ever MCC Live. Today, in response to some of the issues that are taking place in our world and certainly here in our community, we've decided to assemble a group of folks here who can help answer questions that anyone has. We're certainly grateful for this opportunity to communicate with you, and we don't want you to be afraid to ask questions. They're feeding them to us, and we'll do our very best to give you the best possible answer we can. We're working very hard to communicate with our students, with our faculty and our staff, and certainly with our community, and we want to encourage you to engage in this process. As we've talked about on a number of occasions, we always encourage people to go to our website, meridiancc.edu/coronavirus, to find the latest information and updates related to the college's response to this particular crisis. But before we go any further, I want to introduce everyone here. I'm Dr. Tom Huebner. I'm the president, as I shared. And then to my left is Soraya Weldon, and she's our vice president for operations. To her left is Joseph Knight, who's vice president of workforce solutions. And then at the very end is Dr. Marie Roberts, and Marie, tell us your title. She oversees anything related to distance learning or e-learning, and she's really been our leader in this effort in helping to make the transition from face-to-face to online courses where that's necessary. But her title was recently changed, and I don't actually remember the new title.
Yeah, so you approved it, thankfully.
Thank you, I did.
It is Director of Digital Teaching and Learning.
Right.
So all things that's digitally supplemental, or all things digital, actually, anything digital teaching and learning.
It's good. So let's just take a minute. I know I introduced everyone, but if I could ask everyone here on the panel just to share a quick word about what we're doing and about efforts that are taking place here in the college to try to address the concerns of our students, our faculty, our staff, and certainly our community. Well, let's do that. So we'll start with Soraya. Share a word or two.
Well, of course, in our area, there's really two top concerns. Number one, we want students to be able to continue learning, continue their semester, finish their semester, and number two, stay safe. So we have implemented different plans across campus to help our housing students. Most of those have left our housing complexes and have gone home. We do have a few cases where we are working with students who need to stay on campus and finish their programs, which is part of our first goal, is to make sure our students are able to complete their semester as successfully as we possibly can allow them to do that in a safe environment. Also, we have our physical plant and custodians working every day and night shifts to make sure our campus is clean. They have protocols that they are following all over campus in each of the individual offices, in common areas that they're keeping clean daily. We've tried to limit access to certain buildings on campus so that we can confine the people who are on campus to just a few small areas so that those staff can concentrate on keeping those areas clean as people come in and out to maybe test or finish up some things for their classes. So those are the main pieces that we have that we're working on. We're also working on making sure that students within the next week or two continue getting advised and getting directed. You know, your learning doesn't stop. We just maybe are changing the way you do it. So we've got our advisors on hand. They're all working. They all have computers and laptops and ways to communicate with students. If you need to speak with an advisor, you're maybe not sure who you should contact, if you will email advising@meridiancc.edu, someone will get back to you. Our advising staff is monitoring that email. They will get back to you. They will email you, possibly call you, and work out a time so that they can review your transcripts and things like that to make sure that if you are wanting to continue your enrollment, maybe for summer and fall, we're going to start that process for our current students next week. So that has not stopped. We're going to still do that, and we encourage you to please contact them. We also will be reaching out to our students within the next couple of weeks just to check on you, make sure you're okay. If there's anything we can do for you, please let us know. We do have a chat box on our website now. If you've got questions, please go there, submit your questions. Someone will get back with you with the answer as fast as we can to make sure that you are continuing to be served as our student.
On the career and technical side, as Sarai's already mentioned, there's two main focuses. One is the safety of our students, and the second part is to do everything possible within our power to make sure those fourth year or fourth semester students graduate this spring. Now, to do that on the career and technical side, it's a little bit of a challenge, especially if we run into a situation where we have to stay home in place for some time. For the most part, 75% of all of our programs in career and technical have moved to an online format, or maybe even more of the percentage. I know that Marie has that information and those actual statistics. But I want to give a shout out right now to our faculty. For the past 2 weeks, they have done over and above and beyond the call of duty to convert what they have in face-to-face operations to online formats. Now, we realize that they are programs. Nursing is a program that is a very difficult task to do. Welding is a program that's a very difficult task to do. Truck driving. So we have many programs that are going to have to do a hybrid model. So you're experiencing some things online right now. Some of you may even have already come in and worked in your lab setting. In doing so, safety is the utmost importance. So we have some protocols set in place for that process. And just to go over that real quickly, you know, students, before you leave home, please make sure that you don't have any flu-like symptoms. You don't have a fever, you haven't run a fever in the last 24 hours. That is critical. If you feel like that you are sick in any way, please notify your instructor. And if you notify your instructor, that's okay. We're being very lenient in this process to make sure that everyone is safe. We'll make some ways for you to make up whatever classwork that you've missed up at a later date. So that's kind of what we've been doing. We're still boots on the ground right now. We're still working out some details for testing in our nursing division, and hopefully we will have that all finalized by the end of today or no later than Monday. But just keep the faith. We appreciate our students being patient during this process, and if you have any questions, as Sarai has already said, you know, use the chat box on our email. Or email your instructor. That's very important as well. Stay in contact with your instructor. They can answer basically every question that you might have. If they can't, they notify us. We get them a response very quickly. So, that's right. Marie?
So on our end, for all things digital teaching and learning, it's been a lot about support and training the last couple of weeks. We've spent 2 weeks really digging in deep with faculty who maybe have never taught online or have not had a lot of experience in communicating with our students. And then as well as even for our students, maybe those who were nervous about taking an online class, maybe had never done so. So it was about providing resources, tutorials, webinars, PDF, step-by-step guides, those elements of support and training. And then since courses have started back up this week, we've been running running analytics on which students have not checked in. Can we follow up with those students, reach out, call them, email them, ask them, how are you doing? How can we help? Verifying that they do have access to the devices that they need or reliable internet, and then as well as providing some of those services available on our campus for students who may not have access to them. And so far, again, a huge shout out to our faculty as well as our students for being flexible. These are unprecedented times, and so we went from being a 25 to 30% online college to basically 100% online college in about 14 days. And so that's a big effort, and it took a team of people basically to be able to get that done.
Yeah, and so I appreciate what every one of you have said in the sense that I think it's the number of people who have stepped up has been overwhelming, and that starts certainly with our faculty members who are engaging their students. And I've told the story that I went home at some point last week and I asked my daughter, who's a freshman here, and I said, tell me about have you heard from your instructors? And at that point she had heard from every single one. And that was well before the time where we said, please contact your students. And so she had heard from every single one. And in fact, the messages she had received from some had been so positive and encouraging. And I'm hearing that story from others as well. I think one of the things that makes us special is that we have people who, and this is true of higher ed also, but I know this higher ed and I know these people and I know that they care deeply for their students and not just about their learning, but we want to make sure they're okay.
Right.
So, all of you have mentioned something about that, and I think that's important as we move forward. And something else, though, is that, and I know we've all shared a lot of information here. You've heard a lot of information. You're going to hear a lot over the next hour or so as well as we begin to answer questions. But again, we encourage you to reach out to your faculty, your instructors, go to the website, ask questions, and don't be afraid. We are working very hard to help make this an outstanding educational experience for you, and to finish this semester. We want to see you graduate. We want to see you get that job, transfer to that university, and do the things that your big dreams and the things you want to do with your life. We want to encourage and support that in every way we possibly can. It just might look a little different right now, and so. I encourage you to keep the course, stay the pace, keep moving forward, and we're going to be okay. Let's now turn to questions I think some folks have sent in, and how we're going to handle that is Marie is going to be able to share those questions, and she's going to kind of direct them in the place they need to go. But as you have questions, please go to the website and share those with us so we can answer them.
Yeah, so thanks for all of our folks who have turned in live at this point and asking those questions. And our first question that we've had come up may be addressed by several of you, but the first one is our campus closed, and what does that actually mean for our students?
Right, so I'm going to take the first stab at that. So the answer is we are open for business in some ways as it relates to our students. What we're doing is, I think Soraya mentioned that we have certain buildings that are completely closed, and we have other buildings that we have had. Well, actually, every other building has limited access. So, for example, I would not encourage anyone listening out there just to come onto campus and pop in a building and see us, because we're really trying to limit who has access to buildings, and we're also trying to do everything we can to ensure that the people who do enter those buildings aren't exhibiting symptoms, being around people with symptoms, et cetera, et cetera. So the best thing to do is we are open, though, with regards to our students. So what that means is if an instructor, if you have for example, a need for a particular piece of technology or something, we can help facilitate that process for you with some of our computer labs. But what we really want is for our students to go through their instructors and to ask questions and interact that way. And if you have questions about the business office, questions about admissions, questions about financial aid, for example, contact those offices directly via the telephone or via email, and rather than coming to campus and visiting with people, because the odds are you may not be able to get into a building. Other people want to take a stab at that.
That's correct. And most of our areas have either modified their work schedule so that if they have to come to campus, there's only maybe 1 or 2 people within that particular area and safe distance and cleaning protocols. So we are limiting even those of us who work here to,
right.
We're not saying you can't come to work, but we're right. trying to make sure that our schedules are so that
right.
people aren't gathering in too many places together, but are able to still do their work.
Right.
Thank y'all.
I think one of the best ways to explain that is it's basically closed to the general public.
Right.
There is, one area, our career testing facility, where people have already signed up for tests that many months ahead of time, that we're still allowing those individuals to come in and test, but they're having to go through the same protocol as our students are when they come in to make sure that they have safe practices as they walk in the door. So,
right.
Well, and in that regard too, for example, in computer labs, and what we did was we knew that there were some students who might have challenges associated with technology or internet access, and so we have a couple of computer labs, and we're not seeing a lot of usage of those labs. And of course, we have the Wi-Fi signals we've put in parking lots, but we're not seeing a lot of usage of those labs. But when a student does come into that lab, we're employing strict protocol in terms of, when they enter, we're making sure that the workspace is clean before and after, and doing everything we can to maintain as safe environment as possible.
Right.
So.
Awesome, thank you. So we had one of our questions that's come in from an industrial maintenance student. And so what does that class look like now for that student?
For the industrial maintenance specifically, and several other industrial classes, it's called a hybrid model. Right now they're learning some things online. It's called Amatral e-learning. They are familiar with this already. They were doing it in-house in the class itself in a computer lab. But now that has been cascaded out to where they can do it at home by their instructors. So that's step one, and that's what they've been doing this week, and then they will begin next week actually coming into the lab and doing the hands-on skills inside their actual maintenance lab. Now, what does that mean? As we just discussed, as they enter the building, they will see some signage. And I brought one of those signs, and we can't focus in on it today or zoom in on it, but you'll see these posted all throughout the campus. And these signs are basically giving you the instructions when you enter a building what you are supposed to do. Again, we want you to make sure before you come to campus that you don't have any flu-like symptoms, that you haven't run a fever, etc., those type things, or that you have not come in contact with anyone who has the COVID-19 virus. When you get here, you're going to be asked to go to the nearest hand washing station, and you're going to be asked to follow the CDC guidelines to wash your hands, okay? And if you kind of want to do it a little fun way, you can sing your happy birthday song twice, okay? And as you're washing your hands, get the back side of your hands, between your fingers, your fingernails, in the palms of your hands, everywhere. Wash your hands very, very good. Once you leave there, you'll dry them. Once you leave the restroom or the nearest hand washing station, once you enter the lab, you'll be handed some hand sanitizer to put on as well, and then you will be given a sanitation cloth to wipe down your specific work area that you're in. Then you will perform your normal duties as your instructor has asked you to do, and then once you finish performing those duties, we ask that students go back, wipe down their machine again with a new sanitation cloth, and then they go back to the restroom, wash their hands, and leave campus. So that's, and that is all within the CDC guidelines of 9 students in the room or less, because we have the instructor in the room and we have 9 students, and they will be spaced out 6 feet apart, and to make sure that we stay within the CDC guidelines and what Governor Tate Reeves has asked us to do as well, and the mayor of the city of Meridian has asked us to do as well. So.
Vice President Weldon, can you talk to us a little bit about how do students go about turning in documents, maybe things like scholarship applications and forms? What's the best way for students to get those to us?
Of course, they can still mail them in, but we are working on an online scholarship form that should be ready very soon.
I think it's ready.
Is it ready today?
Yeah.
So that will help. That will be
yeah.
emailed back into and sent directly to the financial aid office, to our scholarship coordinator. A person could fill that out, scan it, and email it to us. The financial aid office has a general email address that all of the staff monitors and checks, and it's finaid, FINAID, at meridiancc.edu. If you want to, you can email questions to that email address. You may submit documents to that email address. We still can accept faxes, that kind of thing. So all of those normal ways other than walking into the building and handing it to someone, all the other ways are still available. So.
Yeah. And I'll add to that, for those of you at home who may have a smart telephone device, like an Android or an Apple, there are several free apps that you can actually download where you can take a picture of something like a scholarship application and it will automatically convert it into a PDF, so that way you can be emailed in and you don't have to have any type of paid device or fancy machinery. You can actually do it right from your smartphone. So it's a good option there.
Thanks.
So what information do we have right now about graduation, nursing pinnings, those types of traditional ceremonial activities for the upcoming semester?
Well, as far as graduation, our originally scheduled ceremony on May 8th, that particular date and ceremony has been canceled. We are in process. Our future plan would be, if we are able to hold our August graduation, we typically have an August graduation, or December. Those are our next two graduation ceremony dates. The folks who were eligible to graduate and did graduate in May and still would like to participate in a ceremony, we'll include them in one of those. You know, depending on how all this transpires, we'll be able to hopefully have a ceremony in August. If not, it'll be December. We will not deny anyone from participating in a ceremony. Now, when the semester ends, a student has completed their coursework, we are conferring degrees. So you have graduated, you have your degree and diploma, you just may not have participated in an actual formal ceremony yet, but rest assured we will confer degrees as normal.
Yeah, and also if the student who is graduating goes to their EagleNet account, you'll see an opportunity for them to fill out a digital version of what we call the graduation card, and that will go to Ms. Deb Oldham in our registrar's office, and we can get the ball rolling for your intent to graduate. And so what we're doing is we're going to send you your diploma, we're going to send you a diploma cover, and then we're going to give you an opportunity to walk either, as she said, in August or December. And we're also exploring some other opportunities that might be fun for us to honor our graduates. So we know it's a big deal, and we're going to do everything we can to recognize you in that.
And I was just going to add to that, the graduation application is on EagleNet. If you log into EagleNet, click on the student tab, and then under surveys, personal information, student apps, you'll find the graduation application. You'll also find where you can update your address and phone number, which is also important, so that once you do graduate, we're mailing you your diploma, that it goes to the correct and most current address. And also tied to that, next week, no later than Tuesday, we will be mailing out student credit refund checks. If you had a credit on your account, we'll be mailing those checks out next week. So I encourage people to go today to make sure that your address is correct and current, because that's where that check will be mailed. So
very good.
Let me tag on just a little bit. For those programs that are not 100% online, I know that in the back of many students' mind, if we go into a stay-in-place situation, what's going to happen to their graduation? Well, simply, it's just going to be delayed. They're still going to graduate, but every how many weeks we have to stay in place, if that were to happen, then we will add that on to the end of this semester to make sure that we get those students graduated. Now, we don't know what's going to happen, so that may happen and it may not happen. But if it does, then we will know that every how many weeks or days we're in stay in place, that would just be added on to the end of the semester, and we will finish out the semester that way.
So kind of speaking of looking ahead, what does summer 2020 look like as far as class availability, modality? Is it going to be all online? What's the plan for summer?
Well, I think we're staying as flexible as we can be. At the very least, it would look similar to what we're doing now in terms of offering summer courses via online formats. But with regards to other programs and other courses, we're just going to have to kind of wait and see where we are at that particular point. We certainly don't want to, this is not, none of us can right now say this is what it's going to look like in June or July. But if we have, but we know we're going to have a full slate of online classes. I mean, look, if you've ever thought that this was the time for you to go back to college. This summer would be a great time to start. And I, you know what, this is interesting. I had a conversation with someone who had not really any understanding of what it meant to take an online course. And I'm going to flip and Marie, you tell us about that, because it's not what you're thinking. It's not like just emails that are telling you to read this or do that. It's very engaging, isn't it?
Yes.
And very a very productive way for a lot of students to learn. So I'm going to flip it. I know that wasn't one of the questions, but talk about that for a little bit, because I think there's a mindset people might have about what it means to study online. And certainly we know some folks need, like this guy right here, I would probably absolutely need the face-to-face format, and we want to encourage, and we hope we can get back to that as soon as we possibly can, because we know some people are going to learn better in that environment. But don't put off going to school because you think you might, because you may not like the online format. Talk about that for a second.
So I think it's important first to know that there are some schools out there where all of their online faculty may not be located locally. They don't feel reachable to the students. They don't feel connected because they're not in our immediate area. For us, about 92% of all of our courses are taught by full-time employees of Meridian Community College, our faculty who are here. And so these are people who sound like you and talk like you and understand the lingo and understand the cultural dynamics of where we are, and they're available by telephone, they're available by email, they're in the same time zone as you. And so it's comforting for students to know that kind of on the front end, that we have faculty who are here and are readily available. And online class in general, what I try to tell people is think of yourself as you have been transported to a virtual environment. We use a website called Canvas, that's our learning management system, where you are doused in information, where you can kind of search through and you can navigate, and our faculty have been trained in how to design that content and present it to you in the same way that it would be presented if it were a face-to-face course. Just like if you were in a Tuesday, Thursday lecture and we're going to cover this PowerPoint and we're going to look at this handout and we're going to watch this video together or listen to this podcast, it is laid out in that same way in the online class. Now you may be accessing it at midnight because you have life responsibilities or work or children at home that prevent you from being able to sit in that Tuesday, Thursday class, but the content is the same, the learning outcomes are the same. You just have a little bit more flexibility in when you can access that material. Even the tests are often the same, so you're held to the same standard and receiving the same quality of education. On the flip side of that, though, I typically tell students is in an online class you typically have information overload, so to speak. Our faculty are sharing a lot of things with you. They're giving you a lot of additional resources, and they want you to think of it as a learning journey. You can go in, you can explore, and you can dive deeper into a topic, and you have the opportunity to have someone readily available to answer questions if you have concerns about the content or if you need follow-up. But our faculty they're really there to help you, and they want you to succeed. And as much as you communicate with them, they're going to be able to communicate back with you. So we have instantaneous communication options. You can have synchronous live lecture happening. We're doing that right now, where you may tune in virtually and have the very same classroom experience. Right. So it's a good opportunity. Yeah.
Sorry to commandeer that way.
No, that's okay.
I just know I talk to people who don't really have an understanding of what it means for a course to be online.
You still have assignments due once or twice a week, just like you would if it were a face-to-face class, and it keeps you on track and moves to your next level of success.
Yeah. Well, you have at it.
So one of the questions we've had come in from our live viewers, are there going to be any summer events on campus, like College for Kids, sport and athletic camps, any activities going on for students?
Well, there are some decisions we've had to make at this point regarding some events that are taking place during the summer. Of course, I think everyone knows that we've had to cancel events for this semester, and we had to go ahead and make the decision to cancel College for Kids. Heartbreaking. Hundreds of kids from our community are participants in that particular camp activity, and we're going to bring it back next year. It'll come back, strong and with energy and enthusiasm and excitement, because we love College for Kids. We love that opportunity, but based on the timing of things and how they have to happen for us to be prepared for the summer, we thought there's just so much unknown. So we decided we would go ahead and make the decision to cancel for this year, but this year only. Now, with regards to other sorts of activities, camps, sports camps, etc., we certainly hope we can do those things, but we're not in a position right now to be able to say yes or no. But if it looks like it's something we can do, we're going to do it, because we know those camps are the lifeblood of our programs, and that they're important to have prospective students and prospective student athletes, and also just kids that want to get better at soccer or baseball or whatever it is they happen to do.
Yeah. Just to add to that, if anyone had scheduled or rented a facility on campus through May 31st, that has been canceled. We have tried to reach out with all of the folks who had already completed and scheduled events to make sure they understood that. So anything scheduled through May 31st, external, that someone has rented some of our facilities to host events, those have been canceled. So pretty much after June 1, we're just kind of in a wait and see what happens and where we are. But we have several camps during the summer that are athletic related, such as our soccer camps and baseball camps. I don't believe those have been canceled just yet. I think we're still kind of in a wait and see mode for those, hoping we can still have those. So we don't know just yet. We'll have to make those determinations as the time gets closer. So.
One of our questions that's come in from one of our viewers is about transcripts. Is the records office actively processing transcripts? Will those be sent off to agencies like the Board of Nursing or four-year institutions for those who are graduating? How are transcripts being handled?
Absolutely. Transcripts are being processed as they normally would. There's been no change in service through our records office. Students can still request a transcript be sent where they would like it sent. That is available through our website. You complete that information, submit it. We usually get those processed within 24, 48 hours at the longest. Most transcripts are able to be sent electronically from us to the institution directly, so those happen pretty quickly. We will still process and submit transcripts to the Board of Nursing. A lot of students are going to be, depending on that to happen once they graduate. All of those things are still happening right now and will happen.
Dr. Huebner, you mentioned that we have put some Wi-Fi hotspots available in some of our parking areas on campus. Can you talk a little bit more about where those are located, who can access those? What about maybe some of our local K-12 partners?
Absolutely. And I've communicated with both Dr. Carter and Dr. Kane about the availability of those hotspots. And so basically, if you are on the back, I say the backside of our campus, so above the baseball field, that parking lot area there, and then the parking lot area right next to our e-learning, the Holiday e-learning center, is where we've activated those Wi-Fi hotspots. That and we've made them so that you can sit in the parking lot in your car and be able to access. And right now they're open. And we don't have any particular passwords or codes or anything needed to get on those hotspots. And I've noticed a handful of people on occasion back there using them, so it's a positive service. We know there are a number of other entities in the community that are offering something similar, and so we're certainly grateful for all the businesses and the various entities in the community that see this as a need, not only for us, but for our K-12 partners, and for even our folks at MSU Meridian. So, being able to see people step up and offer that opportunity has been very humbling, and we're very grateful. But here on campus, we just, we ask people to be safe and to make good decisions about that, and but we certainly want to provide that opportunity for those who need it.
Vice President Knight, what about our continuing education classes? Are we have any plans to try to maybe offer some of those online, or maybe expand the online offerings? Because we have some already available online.
We do have some already available online, but the ones that were going on face-to-face, we've actually canceled those at this point in time, or postponed them would be a better word to use versus cancel. Most of those classes are really hands-on, which many of them could go online, but you'd be watching an instructor do something, and you'd have to
like decorating that cookie,
decorating a cookie or a
yes,
cake,
that's
or
what
whatever.
I was picturing.
So we also our ballet is a continuing education course for a lot of our young people in the community, and of course that has been stopped as well. So we don't anticipate this thing to be more than 2 or 3 months down the road. So we hope to bring everything back up by the fall. If that's not the case, then absolutely we're going to look at opportunities to put those type of personal enrichment classes back online for those that would be feasible to do so. But we won't do that in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We're focusing on our credit hour students right now, and some of our company needs and training of that nature versus a personal enrichment today. Now that's we're just that's a priority, but it's like second or third tier right at this moment. But we will look at that if this thing prolongs.
Vice President Weldon, you mentioned that students can contact their advisor by emailing advising@meridiancc.edu. If they reach out to their advisor that way, is it safe for them to make a face-to-face appointment, or what other options are available to meet with the advisor?
We are not scheduling any in-person appointments just yet. Obviously, our advisors have Zoom on their computers and can meet that way. It's as close to face as we can get right now.
If you haven't downloaded Zoom yet, I'll just encourage you, head on over to zoom.us and create an appointment or create an account using your student email address, which is going to be your student ID at enet.meridiancc.edu. And you can actually have a live face-to-face video chat. Think of it as kind of a professional FaceTime or a professional Snap video. That's kind of what we tell our students. Just think of it as kind of a professional FaceTime app.
Right. But our advisors are working. They are monitoring their emails. They're reaching out to students.
And they could always call or set up a phone conference.
Yes,
or even email.
And another important point: if you call anywhere on campus and get a voicemail, please leave a message. Right. We are all checking our voicemails. We're making sure we return calls and messages that come in. So if you get a voicemail, I encourage you to leave a message.
Leave your name and your number.
Leave your name and your number. Leave your return phone number.
Right.
So that we can get back with you as soon as we can, yes.
And just as a kind of a general rule, I mean, our folks certainly are checking their voicemail, no doubt, but the easiest way is to send an email to an instructor, an advisor, someone, and so with your phone number so they can contact you or communicate with you by email. I mean, I can tell you that faculty and staff are sitting in front of their computers.
Waiting.
Yes.
Waiting.
Please contact us.
Waiting for that. And so certainly a voicemail is something we can get back with as well, but I don't want to discourage that. But I just know just from personal contact with folks and myself, send me an email. That's going to,
And when they do return your phone call, it may not be the typical MCC phone number that you see on your cell phone either. So if you have a strange number calling, it could be an advisor. So.
Yeah, that's right.
They could be using Google numbers.
That's
That's right.
Yeah.
We've actually talked about how that's some folks don't like to answer a phone if they don't know where the number is coming from, and that's obviously we encourage folks to do what they think is best and safest for them, but. Yeah, don't be surprised if you get a phone call from somebody from not the normal number.
Right.
So we had a question come in about what tutoring opportunities are available for students, and I'll kind of speak to what's available online, and if anybody wants to kind of chime in, please do so. Math students specifically have been added to a course in Canvas called the Math Help Desk, and Miss Jessie Beckman, who is our math lab coordinator, is actually the teacher of that course. It's not anything that you're being charged for or getting credit for. It's just simply a place that you can go and request live tutoring through a Zoom session. You can actually hop in with her. You guys can share screens, or you can actually show her the problem that you're working on, and she will walk you through step by step that math problem. Similarly, the English department has added Miss Kelly McKee, who is our English lab coordinator, to all English courses. So specifically for math and English, we have available tutoring live. These are individuals who are already doing tutoring here on our campus, and they're available to you. For all other subjects, ranging in everything from accounting and physics and Spanish and nursing and allied health and just about anything in between, there's a button inside every student's course in Canvas called Net Tutor. And if they will click on that button 24/7, 365, they can connect to a live tutor. They have a whiteboard that they can share with one another. They can upload a paper and have it help to be proofread.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt. 24/7, if you need help,
yes.
If you need tutoring help, you can get access to that kind of help 24/7. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Just had to call attention to that.
Free.
And free.
Completely free, yes.
Yes.
And that's available also to students who are enrolled in our dual credit courses. Maybe if they're struggling with content at home, that's also available to any of our students who are enrolled in dual credit with us. So that's available directly through your Canvas. If you have questions about how to access that, you can always reach out to us in eLearning and we'll help you get to the right place. So it's good stuff for students.
That's good.
All right, I want to play baseball for MCC. Can I reach out to the coaches?
I mean, absolutely, just like normal. I mean,
I want to play baseball for MCC.
Yeah, well, you're welcome to reach out to the coaches.
I don't think I'd make the team.
So, and if that's something you're interested in, certainly you can reach out to our coaches in the way you normally would. I know they actively monitor Twitter and obviously email addresses, which anything, any and all. I would always encourage you to contact your high school coach and have your high school coach call or make contact on your behalf if you don't know how to do that. But no, I mean, none of that's changed. I mean, they can't come see you play because you're not playing, and we can't travel. But that would be true of any sport, not just baseball, but softball, tennis, golf, basketball, soccer, any of those sports. Make contact with the coaches. I mean, they're actively recruiting as best they can within the confines of the NJCAA rules, and are more than happy to. But I think they can't make face-to-face, they can't do visits or anything like that right now, but I think you can communicate electronically or by phone.
So I had a quick text message come in actually from one of our advisors who's already being contacted apparently by students who are watching with us, and they did want to clarify that if you're a graduating sophomore and you've already completed your grad card, maybe had already turned it into the business office, you don't have to do another one. We're still going to process it, and we're going to confer your degree upon completion of your program or your major.
That's correct.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Our next question that's come in from our live viewers, thanks again for everybody who's tuning in, is our hotspot availability only open during standard college business hours?
No, it's open.
24/7.
24/7.
Yeah.
24/7,
Only
along
the
with
chat.
NetTutor.
Yeah, only
Yeah.
the chat is open during college hours.
Yeah, the
Correct.
chat, right.
Correct.
The chat, which is available on the website, is only during college hours.
Yep.
But you can still log a question, by the way, and someone will be able to answer it when it becomes a live, within the next day, the business day.
Now, some of our program, it have very specific admission dates. Have any of our admission dates changed for programs?
No, those admission dates are still intact. For example, like nursing, we have already started the scheduling. Will start next week, I believe, for the HESI test for those students who are trying to get into the nursing program. Now, the HESI testing period has been expanded just a little bit because we're trying to, we are staying within the 10 people in a room scenario that's recommended by CDC. So what that meant was we had to extend the testing dates out to get everybody in the room. But the actual dates and submissions of applications and things is still intact. So I want to stress, we hadn't shut down. We haven't canceled business. We're not taking students. I mean, if you want to be in school this summer, if you want to be in school in the fall, get the application in. We're processing. Call an advisor. We're responding. So we've kind of just changed focus from some of the stuff we were doing face to face to more online format. But we're still communicating with folks. We're still interacting with people. We're still entering data. We're still doing the things that we need to do to help move you forward here at the college. So
I was going to add to your graduation application comment, just as a reminder, when you go online to fill out that application, there is no fee. So you won't pay a fee at this point. If you decide to participate in the ceremony, we'll work that out later. The students who have already paid their fee, we will be refunding that to them. Now that one may take another couple of weeks for us to get those out, but just to add on to the cost and the fees for that. So.
And people may have that question, do I go ahead and apply today? Yes, as soon as the application is open for admissions to the college or to a program, go ahead and be applying as soon as those dates are open. So,
and as back to the transcripts, not only are we sending them out, when we receive them, we are evaluating them and getting those entered into your system, our system, and your record. So all of those steps and processes are still happening.
Right.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the Arts and Letters series? We were planning on doing a lot of shows that have been canceled maybe for this spring. What about maybe Hairspray for the fall? That was going to be one of our shows.
I wonder, yeah. So I have a child who was cast in that particular production. I wonder if she sent a question in about that. So no, obviously Susie Johnson, the director of Arts and Letters series, has been wonderful to work with regards to, as has everyone. And I know she's giving every effort to try to reschedule those things in the fall, at the point at which we can do them. So again, while the Arts and Letters series is on hold right now, we will come back with a vengeance the second we're able to. So I know she's thinking and she's planning and she's doing the things that that need to be done to prepare us, and we're just trying to stay flexible on that, on the final decisions on a yay or a nay until we know more. But I would always encourage, if someone has a specific question about a specific production, for example, to stay in contact with Susie, our Arts and Letters director. And I know personally I would love to see Hairspray on the stage in the fall, but we trust our experts in those areas to help us make decisions about how we're going to move forward there.
So speaking of things that maybe be transitioning into an online format, are going to be summer orientations, especially honors orientation that's coming up, Elite Eagle orientation, as well as maybe our information sessions for programs. So I can speak a little bit to what our plans are for those. Specifically, Elite Eagle orientation was scheduled for April the 24th. Still happening. That's going to be for high school seniors graduating in May with a 21 or higher on their ACT. It's just going to be in an online format, so they're going to get some additional information, be housed in Canvas, probably a system several of them are already familiar with. Same for some of those information systems. So we're just encouraging folks, continue to sign up. Our processes are still open. You just may be getting things electronically. And so and Canvas is thankfully mobile friendly.
Yeah, look, I have to tell you, and I know it's not just because they're standing behind cameras here in this room, but the folks in our college communications, our videographers, I call him Magic Matt Milner, is working hard with some of our other personnel to make sure that we are transferring other things that might be normally face-to-face, but transferring them to an online format. And so I've had a little sneak peek at some of it, and I'm excited about it because being able to capture the energy and the good things happening on a campus, even in a time of crisis, is a gift. And so we're grateful for people who have that attitude and that skill set to be able to do that.
I'm loving that this is live because I'm literally getting text messages from people. Please make sure you say this, please add that. And so here's a quick little add-in. For students who are interested in applying to be a part of the Phil Hardin Foundation Honors College, they will actually have an online application that will go live on Monday, similar to our scholarship applications and tuition guarantee forms and things like that. And so if you're interested in applying to be a part of the Honors College, you'll be able to apply online. They'll contact you for additional details. And so all of our day-to-day operations, we're just simply transitioning. We are moving into the 21st century for a lot of things. So I'm excited.
So we have an outstanding honors college, the Phil Hardin Honors College, and the last year or so, more than 70 students who are part of that. So if that's something you think you want to be a part of, the online application goes Monday. Is that what it said? Live Monday. So tell your friends, encourage people to be a part of that.
All right, so one of our next topics is what's happening for the future of MCC. Are we going to stay on online forever? Or are we going to try to come back to a sense of normalcy when life gets more normal? What's the future?
Everybody looks at me. Sorry. It doesn't matter. Well, let me say something real quick about that. So we have what we're everybody's calling the new normal, right? Well, what does that mean? We know it means that for this period of time, we're having to make certain adaptations, certain adjustments. But I've told folks, I think I did a newspaper interview and shared this, and what I said was, we've been teaching online courses for a long time. We have faculty members who have been engaged in this. Is not new to us, and Dr. Roberts said that earlier. It's not new to us to be able to do this. They're engaging. We care about our students. All that stuff. We've been doing that. So what does it look like next? Listen, I have no intention of becoming an online college, like an online-only college. What we do in this community is we provide. We've had people from all over the world taking online courses at Meridian Community College for years. So that's not new to us. That's not new. So we will continue to do that. We will continue to provide those opportunities in the way we always have. We have a greater comfort level now with it. with regard to some of our faculty who may not have done that in the past, but who are doing that now. So that, I think, will provide more options and opportunities. But the second we're able to resume face-to-face options, because we know many of our learners prefer that, and we know they need that, and they excel in that kind of an environment. So there's no intention to say goodbye to the traditional face-to-face and just move online. But we also know that this has afforded us opportunities now to expand even and consider programs and people, and to be able to do that. And then it's been good because we've been able to kind of step back and look at everything we're doing and answer the question, can it be done more efficiently? Can it be done better? Is there technologies we can use? And so it's forcing us to ask questions about our processes and our programs and what we do. And I think that's ultimately, at the end of the day, a good thing, and that will have a transformative effect on our institution moving forward. But at the end of the day, we know what our mission is. Mm-hmm. We know what we do here. We know what we are created to do. We know what we love to do, and we're going to continue to embrace that mission. I don't know if anybody else has something to say.
I would say, over the past couple of weeks, all over campus, we're transitioning. We're transitioning into some online formats, transitioning in different ways to serve students. We're figuring out what is working well and what is not, and then we're making the change to correct those things. So it's helped a lot of us not only to learn some new things and grow and help serve our students better. A lot of us are even doing more in different, I call it cross-training, and learning about things that we may not have even had a chance or an opportunity to know and work through. You see people, I call it, some people think they've been reassigned, but I call it repurposing. We're repurposing a lot of things and figuring out what's the best way to make this work for our students. And it's really been a growth opportunity.
I think so too. I really think so
from
too.
what I've seen all over campus.
Anytime you go through any challenging situation, you need to learn from that. So, and that's what you're hearing from the panel this morning, is we're learning from this process as well. What happens down the road, 10 years, 20 years, maybe past our life expectancy, something else comes up. But we learn from this, and in the process, we have some contingency plans in place as we move forward. So what we're learning is most of those traditional hands-on classes, they can become hybrids. You still got to have some hands-on. Doesn't mean they're going to become a hybrid, but it means that we will have some shells in there and introduce students at the beginning of the semester, hey, you need to do this assignment online. You're in a face-to-face class, but just in case, we need to get you familiar with Canvas. We need to get you familiar with doing some things online and things of that nature. So it's been a real good learning experience, even though we're in a bad situation.
And to me, that's an added benefit to the student. The student has now learned something more and new in technology and some things that possibly they wouldn't have been.
And it's not going to just apply to colleges. This is going to apply to high schools and then
the whole world is experiencing this.
So your banking, everything. But
I think about that, these transitions, and I think about students out there who might be fearful, of making those transitions. I know, and they may or may not be listening and watching, but if you are listening and watching and you know someone in this boat, please let them know. We understand that sometimes people are fearful of transitions like this, and you're like, that's not what I can do. You'd be surprised what you can do. You'd be surprised what you can do if you have the opportunity. So, we want to encourage you to reach out to someone here at the college and say, listen, I really want to, but I don't know that I can. And let us walk you through. Let us walk you through how you can accomplish that goal in this kind of new environment.
Speaking of reaching out.
Yeah.
So we do have someone at our switchboard answering phone calls. You don't know who to call. I don't know where to start. Well, how about just call our switchboard and we'll get you in touch with the right person. That phone number is 601-483-8241. Please call us.
Right. I want to share a story that happened within our nursing division just a few days ago. I think it was our first semester nurses. They had a home project that they needed to do, but they needed some supplies on campus. And you was talking about you don't know what you can do until you kind of push to do it. Our first semester nursing faculty come up with this idea of, okay, if you don't have the supplies at home, this is what you need. They give them a list. You might could find it at these locations or whatever. If you don't have it and you need to come by and pick it up, hey, come by, text me a number, and I will come to your car. You don't get out of your car. I'll come to your car and give you the supplies that you need. And what we found out that when our faculty did that, they reached out to these students came by, and we have pictures of them writing on them. We love our MCC nursing, our faculty and staff and so on. And that's just that's a wonderful story of how people are working together for a common goal to make everybody feel safe, to make everybody feel comfortable during these stressful times. So I just want to say another shout out to our faculty and staff, not just our nursing, but everybody. There has been tremendous hours put in over this past 2 weeks. I know that we're not 6 foot apart, but we've been together for 3 weeks now, just to be honest with you.
So this is as far apart as we can get.
That's
still
right.
be in the shot. So.
But anyway, it's just kudos to everybody involved. I mentioned to one of our groups when we were having these ramp up meetings and say, hey, this is what we got to do. These are objectives we got to make sure we meet. I said, has any of you read the book, Who Moved My Cheese? And most everybody in the room said, okay, your cheese has been moved right now.
We moved it. And everything else. And whatever. So.
Well, I think one of the common themes that Dr. Huebner keeps saying and telling us as a group and as an institution is, we're in this together. Right. And I feel that's true.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. And I feel like we all have
I mean,
our time in and
whether
to
it be
do whatever we can to help.
That's been true. I mean, from housekeepers to maintenance personnel to bookstore personnel to financial aid personnel to advisors to name somebody. I've gotten a sense on messaging from all kinds of people about this idea of, hey, just tell me what to do. Just tell me what you need. Because we really are coming together on behalf of our students here, and it's been a very, very none of us wanted this. Right. Who wakes up thinking, like, if you had asked me 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, would we be here? I would be like, there's no way. Well, we're here. So, but the important thing is that people are working together and they're listening to each other and they're talking and they're trying to make what we believe are the absolute best decisions that we can for our students.
That's right. Well, so we want to thank everybody that's tuned in live. I'll let Dr. Huebner do our official goodbye and wrap up, but I did want to just mention that we will be doing a social media recording version of this. We'll post on our social channels, so please make sure that you're following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as on YouTube. And so we'll turn it over to Dr. Huebner for our wrap up.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed this opportunity. We know that probably there are many unanswered questions. Please feel free to reach out and we'll do everything we can. We know we've had folks on our Facebook page, certainly on YouTube, and then we mentioned the chat line, email. We know folks have asked questions and we're doing everything we can to be able to provide answers. And if we don't know the answer, then that's maybe something we have to think about and need to address. And so we're working hard to try to do that, to provide information. But listen, here's what I want you to know. If you're a student, okay, keep the faith, stay encouraged, keep reading your stuff, keep turning in your material, and use this as an opportunity to really be focused on what's important and what your goals are and where you want to go and how you want to get there. And know that you have a resource right here at Meridian Community College, that the people here are behind you. We care about you. We want to see you be successful. If you know people who are frozen by this in some way, they're fearful of moving forward, encourage them. Push them on if you have to, but or if they just need a call from somebody, let us know. And we want to keep the forward momentum. We know that any community relies on its institutions of higher learning in order to make transformative changes in that community. We know what our role is, we know what our mission is, and we take that very seriously. So we are going to probably do this some more, because if it looks like we need to, that's what we're going to do. But we encourage you to stay safe, stay informed, make good decisions, take this seriously, and keep pushing yourself, and we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. At the end of this, we will be better. All of us will be better for having gone through it. So thank you. I'm so grateful to be part of the Meridian Community College family. I'm grateful to be an Eagle, and we're grateful if you're one of our students, our faculty members, our staff members. We're grateful you're an Eagle too. Thank you.
MCC has been by far the best decision that I've ever made. I mean, it's helped me out tremendously academically. It's by far been the best choice for me.
I did get close with a lot of students here at MCC, but most of the staff, all the staff that I went to and was asking for help and what do you suggest, they all know me by name.
It's definitely been a journey, and it's been a very exciting journey. I'm so thankful that I came to Meridian, because Meridian's what started all of this for me, and I'm not close to being done yet, but I'm definitely on my way, and I give all my thanks to Meridian Community College.
They care about students here. All the instructors are willing to help. So at a 4-year, you're probably not going to get that. You're a statistic pretty much.
I really wish MCC was a 4-year institution, because I'm really I'm going to start crying. I'm really sad thinking about graduating because I don't want to leave now that I'm here.